it's your girl Barbie J here. Hey, it's your girl Barbie J here. I had to say it 2 times because it's twice as nice that I'm here for the season finale of the Equalizer, Season 1, Episode 10, Reckoning. And y'all know Robin McCall was up in the place reckoning everything. She's good. I'm sad to see this show go. I can't believe this is the season finale, but it's supposed to come back in. I think they just said soon. They didn't say when, but it's coming back soon. So I'm going to try to give y'all detail about this episode, but it seemed like this episode needed so much more detail. I was going to try to keep it, under 20 minutes, but for this season finale, it was wonderful. It was exciting, and it was just like, oh snap. It left you like, oh snap, like what's going to happen next season now? Maybe her daughter going to be down with her, who knows. But anyway, shout out to everybody in my comment section who has been holding me down this whole time while we all watched the Equalizer while it was on hiatus for 4 weeks because somebody had COVID on the set and all this stuff and all this back and forth. So we had 10 episodes, which is wonderful, and 10 awesome episodes. Now this episode, I loved it, but there was, a little thing here and there that left me think, how did that happen? How did you do that? And it probably left you feeling the same way. But before we get started, what am I going to do, y'all? I'm going to ask y'all to subscribe to my channel. Please subscribe to my channel. Hit the little subscription button right here. Oh no, I think it's on this side. The subscribe button, and help a sister out, help her channel grow. I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers by my birthday, June 1st. And then at the end, if you stay on till the end, I'm going to have a special request for my birthday. So let's get started with this review, recap, whatever. Okay, and if I miss anything, please let me know. So, of course, y'all know it started off with Delilah and her friends walking the street, and one of them gets shot. There's a van pulls up and starts shooting at people and stuff, and the person who got shot, they killed that person, I think, but one of Delilah's friends, Jason, got shot. And we find out that, like Delilah said, it wouldn't have never happened if we wasn't cut in school. Come on. Aunt Vi was like, no, baby, or was it Robin saying, it's not your fault, or something. No, it's not her fault, but if your butt was in school, it wouldn't have never happened, but y'all was all cutting class. And then they showed them up at the hospital, and you see the white mother is fussing at her daughter and stuff, hanging out in that area. What are you doing in that type of area anyway? And oh my gosh, she's putting down the area of them, what they were in, and all kind of stuff. And she basically, did she call him a thug? What did she call Jason? Did she call him a little thug or something like that? I don't know. But she had some choice words to say about the neighborhood he lives in. So Robin is just watching and listening. The white boy is telling his father that, he was it was a guy with a ponytail in the van. I'll never forget, And so she's looking, and just paying attention. And you know how Robin is. She's absorbing all this. So she calls Detective Dante. Oh no, then they show Detective Dante going to visit his dad. This is the first time we seeing his dad. I'm having a feeling his dad's going to be in it more. But he goes to see his dad in prison. His dad, remember, was a decorated police officer, and then he turned into a dirty cop or dirty police officer because he fixed something. He took drugs and planted it on somebody else, got him in trouble, and he ended up losing his job, I think, and his pension, which that sucks, So Dante asked him, he wanted to know what made you cross the line, asking his father what made him cross the line. And his father wanted to know, does this have to do with that little, with that woman vigilante that you've been dancing around with? He said, I might be in here, but my ears are wide open, like people are telling him stuff. So everybody knows what's going on. Did his father really answer the question? I don't think so. I don't think he did. But he was trying to find out what that gray area was. He was saying something about the gray area, which I guess that's stuck in Detective Dante's mind, because he's probably considering, he sees what Robin is doing, but then on the other hand, she's not doing it by the book. So people get away with stuff, as you'll see for the rest of this episode. And then Jason's mother is she's distraught about this whole thing about her son being shot, and says how it was so hard for him to fit in at the school, but Delilah made his transition so much easier, and she could never thank her enough for doing that for him. And the doctor comes out and she's like, is my son gonna live? And they saying he's in ICU. But I hate when people do that. Is he gonna live? These doctors ain't God. They ain't God. They could give an idea. We don't know. Everybody's different. They had 5 people in with that same wound or something like that, and 2 or 3 may live and 2 might not. They don't know. They not God. But I hate when they say that. Is my son gonna live? We need to know. He's in ICU. That's all they could do. They doing what they can. Then they show Robin and Aunt Vi are in the house talking, and Aunt Vi is saying, well, what do they think you expect people to do? Sit around and wait for them to get their stuff together? So you're saying this, but then Robin, you saying it to the person who Robin ain't gonna try to hear that. And Robin was like, well, I'm not waiting. And she's like, wait, Robin, I said you said it to the vigilante, honey. She gonna go do something, especially when it comes to her child. So then Robin goes to meet with Mel and Harry, updating them on what happened. They find out who the other guy was that got shot. His name was Alejandro, and then that he was involved in some cartel or something like that. And then Robin wants the shooter. She's like, I want that shooter, the one with the ponytail, because he shot that boy. So I don't know what this is, the Molina cartel, and they sent a message or something like that. They were sending a message, I guess, by shooting him. Whatever he did or people in his organization did, that was a message. So that's Robin's thing, is he shot an innocent kid, could have shot her daughter, and that's where she wants her revenge right there. So Delilah ends up she got Delilah to sleep, but Delilah woke up having nightmares about her friend getting shot. And of course Robin wasn't there, and Aunt Vi ran in there, and she was like, she wants her mom. She's like, where's mom? She said, oh, she had to go out and see Jason's mother, something like that. She kept talking about Jason's mother. So then Robin, she finds the location of that cartel with the help of Harry, and finds out who the shooter is, because he shot that kid, Jason. So she hears a woman's voice, and while she's there she had what is it? Well, I'm gonna say the bad guys. One of the bad guys, she had him attached to look like a bomb. And hooked up to him, and she had a gun on his shoulder, and she basically was like, who shot da 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 da, who did this, who did that? She's asking questions, and she said, and they laughing at her because she a woman, thinking she ain't nobody, but then they see that bomb attached to her. So they give her as much information as they can, but then she hears a woman's voice, and she was like, open that door. And when they open the door, there's a girl hanging there who's the guy with the ponytail's girlfriend, and she's saying, so what y'all gonna do? Try to get the information out of her? Yeah, where he's at. Yeah, we're gonna try to get the information. If we don't, she said, what y'all gonna do? Kill her? And they were like, we might have to. She said, take her down. They cut her down, and Robin, of course, Robin had that bomb still attached. I don't know what happened, how she got out of there without that, but she leaves with the girl. And the girl, they leave, and she tried to find out information from the girl. Of course, the girl didn't have no information for her. At least that's what she told her. But Robin called herself helping her put her sweater on, and she put a tracking device on the chick. And so she was able to track her and follow her to the location where the shooter guy was. He came out and met her. That's so stupid when they do that. If that's the location, you stay your behind in the house, behind the closed door, let her knock and she come in. But you go out and greet her when you being followed or looked after, or she was just held hostage. You don't think nobody following her? That part was dumb to me. I'm sorry. Y'all forgive me. Y'all might have felt the same way. Y'all let me know down in the comment section. Then Robin calls Detective Dante and said, I never got a chance to thank you for not taking that shot at me in the subway last week. And she tells him she found the shooter of that kid who got shot, and she said, you want the address? She's like, the family deserves justice. So I guess he was quiet, and she said, we need to do this the right way. She said, she'll do it his way. She was like, I'll do it with you, and I'll even do it your way. And he was like, let me think about it. And she was like, do you want the address or not? And he said, yes. So Detective Dante, of course, he showed up, and he finds the bad guy with the ponytail tied to a chair. So Robin didn't touch him, and then when he comes outside and looks around, she drives off in her motorcycle. So Okay, she did it the right way, didn't hurt him or anything. Then you got Delilah gets home to find Delilah gets home. Oh, I'm sorry. Robin gets home and finds Delilah in her bed. That was a big old king size bed she got there too. And Delilah's like, "Where were you?" You know, she said, "Oh, I had to go out," or something like that. So the next morning, Vi gets this message from the police that they want all the students and their parents at the precinct for them to identify the shooter. So of course, Robin is like, "I can't really do that." And Vi is like, "Why?" She's like, basically, she said, "Are you wanted by the police?" She said, more like, I can't hear what she said, but more like, they want to kill her. I don't know. But so Vi is like, "What? Are you kidding me?" And so of course, Robin, because she couldn't go down there for that, she was like, "Well, her father's away," and Delilah comes in there, and is like, "What's going on?" And she's like, I can't go down there with you." She said, "Mom, that's okay. You could go with me, right?" And she's like, "I can't, I have to go." And of course, Aunt Vi jump in and make an excuse for her again and stuff. But anyway, Delilah goes down there. She does her she identifies the shooter and says she'll never forget his face. And she goes the third guy from the right or something. I said it looked like there was 5 people. Why couldn't she say the guy in the middle or number 3? Either way, he was number 3. That I only saw 5 guys. Maybe there were 6. I don't know. But so this process, you heard Detective Dante said this is supposed to be confidential. But what happened later that day when she get home? She's talking to Robin and her mom. Let me stop calling her Robin when I'm talking to her like that. And she received a threatening phone call right there. And Robin was like, "Who's this? Who's this? How'd you get this number?" Robin going off. And of course, Delilah freaks out. She's like, "What? How did he get my number?" And of course, if they got hers, they got the other kids too. So they threatened all of them, which is terrible. How you gonna just threaten people's kids? But that's what they do. They don't care. Anyway, so what happened? The parents and the students after that meet at Robin's house. And here's the white mother. She's going in because they all want to recant their stories and stuff like that. And she said that what did she say? I wish I had written it down. She said something about Jason's neighborhood and he this thug or something. She called him some kind of name. And Robin was like, "What?" And Delilah jumped up and said, "Just because he lives in a bad neighborhood doesn't mean he's a bad person. He was a nice person. And besides, it wasn't Jason's idea to go in that neighborhood, was it?" And she looked at her daughter. And the daughter put her head down. And the mother was like, shut your mouth. Close your mouth. Close your mouth. Huh? Because now she looked like a fool. Because it was your white daughter who wanted to go to that black neighborhood or that bad neighborhood or that whatever neighborhood she was calling it. I can't remember. Anyway, she called him a gang banger. That's what she called Jason, a gang banger. He ain't no gang banger. Are you kidding me? I was like, this don't make any kind of sense. So anyway, they was like, meeting's over. They recant and everybody's scared for their child. We understand that. But she's like, that's their friend. And if y'all recant and take it back, his killer goes free. That's what happened. So Detective Dante confronts his boss and yells at him in the precinct in front of everybody because I promised these parents this was supposed to be confidential. How did they get them? There's a leak in your house. There's a leak in your house. And he's like, "Well, that's what you find out. What do you want me to say? That's why we have internal affairs." He said, "What? To tell us that there's a problem and never find a solution or the person who did it?" He was like, "Come on." And that's why Robin got upset. She's telling Vi, I'm still going to go out there and look for them because they can't even protect our kids. They can't. So, Robin, Mel, and Harry, they think the confidential informant is responsible for leaking the students' information, and he may be the connection between Victor, the cartel, and Jason's shooter. So that's what they're trying to figure out. Robin shows up, so Robin gets some information she went to the top guy, whoever of one of the sides, one of those cartels, and she told him. She shows up and he's at a restaurant. How she got that close to him when he had security around, I don't know. But she confronts him, the head of the organization, where she said, where I come from, we don't hurt children, but you can hurt each other, but not when it's civilians, innocent civilians. And she said, so I suggest you tell your boy to plead guilty tomorrow, you know. And he was like, well, who are you and stuff? And so she told him something about Bucharest or something like that. And she told him that's why they need to be worried about starting a war with her. So when she walked away, he asked his security, you know, find out where she is and start with Bucharest 2012. And he did. He looked it up and found out what went down there. So then Robin meets with Detective Dante regarding the leak in the precinct and what he's going to do about it. And he's like, what do you want me to do? And she was like, do you care about getting justice? You know, there's a 15-year-old boy fighting for his life. You know, I want this information. You know, I can't give it to her. Well, then you need to do something because this is not right. This is not right. So what happens? Of course, Detective Dante, he goes to the hospital. They show him looking through the window at the boy, the 15-year-old boy fighting for his life. And then he looks at his cell phone with the pictures of his two boys. Because he got two boys and he know if those was his kids, he'd be going to freak off as well. You know, so he gives Robin the information she requested. So Robin, you know, now she's in the guy's apartment, the confidential informant's apartment. And she starts to... She punches him as soon as he comes through the door. Pow, knock him out. When he wake up, he's tied to a chair, and his feet are in a bucket with hot water or something, with a fire under it, with water with a fire under it, and she got it just sitting there. He can't. I guess I don't know how she got his legs stuck down like he can't move it from the bucket. I wonder how she had him tied down. Somebody tell me if y'all saw that. So. And forgive me if this this recap is long, but it deserves it for this last episode. I'm sorry. I might go to 25 minutes, but I'm sorry. Please forgive Barbie J. Okay? Anyway, so she's torturing him for the information, you know. And he finally gives her the information. He said, they're going to kill me. She said, what you think is going to happen here? She said, it's going to start getting hot. It's going to start boiling. And at 150 degrees, your skin is going to start peeling off. I said, oh, snap. That sounded disgusting. I don't know if I would have been able to take that. So he gives her the information. And she told him he better not mention this if he wants to stay alive. So he was like, okay, you don't have to tell me twice. You know. What else happened? Delilah. So then Delilah calls and tells her that Jason didn't make it. He died. And that was sad. She was crying and stuff on there. And so Robin's really pissed now, and she goes home to be with Delilah. And, you know, her and Aunt Vi talking. And she was like, these are dangerous men, you know. Should I be afraid? She's telling Robin, should I be afraid? And she said, no, because when I'm done, it will be nothing. There will be nothing to fear. I was like, hello, there's nothing to fear but fear itself. Tell him, Robin. I don't know. But I'm sitting there going, if I was on Vi, I still would have been afraid, you know, until I knew. I'd feel more safe if she had other people with her. But even then, you know, you never know what could happen. So anyway, so Robin gets the info from Mel and Harry about the drug shipment. They find out that information. They head off to the cartel. The head of the cartel learns about Robin. He checked her out and looked her up, and Harry was able to see that he did make some calls around to find out who she was. Because he said they didn't believe her, so the guy pleaded innocent instead. He pleaded not guilty instead of guilty. So they let him free. So now this kid is out there. He's the guy who shot him is out there free, and the kid died. That don't sound like justice, does it now? Hello, George Floyd. Hello. But we finally got that justice, didn't we? But anyway, so the guy, the head of the cartel, found out, and he said double the security. Because when he found out who Robin really is, he understood from Bucharest 2012. Okay, so Delilah visits Detective Dante, to state she want to keep her witness statement because now she's upset that her friend died and this man is out there getting away with it. She said, you can keep my witness statement and I'll even testify if there's a trial against him, if it's a trial. And he said, have you spoken to your parents about this? You know, your family? I suggest you talk to them. And then his phone rang. He said, give me a minute. And he's talking to the person, and he pulls something off of, what are those letter holders? You know, those little things on your desk? He pulls it off to try to get some information. When he pulls it off, Underneath the pad was a picture of her mother. You see Robin, the picture of Robin. And Delilah's like, oh snap. And Detective Dante didn't catch that. And so she sees that picture of her mother and she's like, holy smokes. You know, so Detective Dante finishes up and then she leaves. He said, I suggest, you're a very brave young lady, but I suggest you talk to your family first. And she said, okay, I will. So she goes home. And she asked her mom, did she know Detective Dante? And she was like, yeah, I think your Aunt Vi mentioned him or something like that. She wouldn't admit that she knew him. And she later sees her mom. You know, she doesn't tell the truth, but you can see Delilah's little brain going, like, what's up? So later that night, she sees her mom leaving. Now, here's the part that I have an issue with, and y'all tell me how this could have possibly worked out. And I want y'all to write it in the chat section, the comment section. How did y'all think this worked out? Delilah sees Robin leaving, her mom leaving, and she goes down the steps and she wants to follow her. If Robin is down the steps in front of her and gets into the car, how did Delilah get in that car? Okay, I know y'all saying I'm being picky. Barbie J, come on now. I know it's a TV show, but how did Delilah get into the car if Robin was going down there first? She didn't know Robin was getting in that car or not. How did she know? How did she get in there before her to hide? Come on, y'all. Y'all know Robin don't move that slow. I'm just a thought. I'm telling y'all. So, she, later, oh, so she sees her mom leaving and getting in the car. How? Okay. So Robin drives the car to the her secret place, that storage unit, and she opens the door and gets her stuff together, strap it on her body because she's ready to go to war and fight. And she gets in her motorcycle and she drives off. When she closes that storage unit, now if she closed the storage unit, somebody tell me how did Delilah get out of the storage unit? Because Delilah's still in there, and she opens the back of the trunk, gets out of the car, and goes and looks and sees the guns and stuff. She sees the guns. She sees the different passports. She sees the wigs. She saw her, I guess she saw her leave out in the motorcycle. I don't know how. I don't know if that was a hatchback car or something. But she saw all of that. So I'm sitting going, oh Lord, what's going to happen now? So Robin gets caught. Robin goes to the place, to the dock or the shipyard or whatever it was. And she's talking to somebody, they're doing this, they're doing that, you know, giving information. And she gets caught. And it's the guy with the ponytail. And she's telling him he should have took the plea deal, or he should have pled guilty, because now he's going to end up dying or something like that. So he takes her to in there with all of those guys, and she by herself. And they basically looking at her like she a joke and stuff, and thinking, she said, what, you think I came alone or something like that? And next thing you know, the people from the other cartel come and they start shooting. She ducks down. She got Mel up there. Mel's her sharpshooter, shooting, shooting people. Because Mel is good at that, as we've seen in past episodes. So of course she never goes without Mel. But she had Mel doing her sharpshooting, and she told him he should have taken the offer, and he didn't. And then that guy she met in the restaurant, who was the head of the program, he was trying to escape. He was trying to escape, and the driver was in the car and they was driving, and she shot the whole front of it because they would like run her over. He ended up getting out the car, and he was still alive, and she was about to shoot him again. And he's like, why is this so important to you? She said, because the girl you threatened was my daughter. That's why. And she said, nobody messes with my family. I said, girl, go ahead. And before she could shoot him, he died. I thought he was faking at first, but he really died. So that was that. So she left a mess there. I was like, wow. So, of course, Detective Dante showed up there, and he saw the damage that was done and all the dead bodies. And she asked him what made him change his mind, about giving her the information. He said I didn't want to see the system get in the way of justice, which makes sense because that's what was happening. And she was like, talking about working together. And she was like, come on, Marcus. Imagine what we could accomplish if we were on the same team. Marcus? Hello? Marcus? Have we ever heard Robin call Detective Dante Marcus? Because That's my first time. Maybe I'm wrong. But y'all let me know down in the chat section. She called him Marcus. I was like, oh, we on first name basis? Okay. Love us. And he said, I don't know if I did the right thing by telling you with all these bodies laying out here. She said, well, look, none of these people were innocent, you know, like that 15-year-old Jason who was in there fighting for his life. And he was like, he understood. I said, now he understanding that gray area that his father was talking about, that gray area. So he understood, but he still was like, but she's trying to see. She said, you know, she was trying to find a balance. She was like, you know, why can't we work together? Why can't we do this and do, you know? And she said, why can't we be on the same team? He said, you mean your team? She said, our team. She said, we could even find a balance that works for both of us, you know? Which sounds good, you know, but, you know, Robin, her head, she gonna do stuff her way a lot of times. It's gonna be hard for her not to do it her way. So he said, I didn't know how to skirt the line. Which I've never heard that saying, but I understand what it means. For some reason I do. He know that skirt the line. And he said he would think about it. But he said, but no, if I'm not coming for you, after you, someone else is. I said, oh, or someone else will. So basically he's warning her that they're going to be after her, even if it's not him. So then Robin gets home, and they come home from the funeral, Jason's funeral. Girl, I didn't even know that was Robin. I said, well, who's that lady coming in the house with them? Like, I never saw Queen Latifah dressed up, you know, but in this role, I was thrown. I don't know what it was her hair or something, but anyway, so they come in from the funeral, and Delilah confronts her mom about all that she has seen. She asked a witness that is trying to piece together in her head. She asked about Detective Dante. Is that why you didn't want to come to the police precinct? And da-da-da-da. She's like, no, that's not it, or something like that. And then she was like, are you in trouble with the police? And she said, no, it's not like that. She said, Ma, I saw your picture on Detective Dante's desk. I saw it there. She said, she said, well, things you see is not always what they look like. She said, I saw the storage unit, Mom. I said, she said, the motorcycle, the wigs, the guns, the money. She said, you know, I seen it all, Mom. So she's like, did you do all that stuff that was on the news? Because one of the guys that was on the news was one of the guys who killed Jason, who was Jason's killer or something like that. She said, did you do that? And she didn't know what to say. And Aunt Vi was coming over there to try to intercede. She's like, Ma, I only have one thing to say. She's like, she said, you don't really work for a charity, do you? She said, who are you? And see, I think that's the wrong question. I understand the child's concern, but the question ain't who are you, because who I am is your mother. I'm your mother. I gave birth to you. I'm your mother. The question is, what is it you do, Ma? What do you do? Right? It's what do you do? So we understand that. And basically that's how it ended. So we're going to see how season 2 begins. But this was wonderful. I enjoyed this episode, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too. It was wonderful giving you guys a recap on the show. But the last thing I wanted to ask at the end before I say my peace goodbye is that June 1st is my birthday, and it would be a whole year since I've been on YouTube. And so I am going to ask, because due to the pandemic, I have fallen behind in my, bills and responsibilities, and I'm still, and due to my illnesses and all that stuff, I'm still not able to work the way I want. But for my birthday, if you have it, I would like to ask for you to bless me, Barbie J, with a financial gift. Yes, I am asking because I am struggling, but I do have time. I have been making time to do this. As you see, I'm still sick and stuff, but a lot of things are going on. I haven't even been able to take my COVID shot because of my illnesses and the different drugs I'm taking. I don't know what's going on. But if you have it, and if you feel it in your heart, with me entertaining you and stuff for my birthday on June 1st, if you don't mind to bless me, I would love it. And I'm going to put it down in the chat section, my CashApp and my Venmo, and you can help me out if you wish to. But that's just me asking. I won't ask again, but I'll probably do it on my other videos. But anyway, thank you so much for following me and being a subscriber. I have been enjoying this run with you guys, and I will be seeing y'all next week, because now it's time for me to do a recap about, let's see, what's coming back, the have and the have-nots. I think it's coming back on my birthday, and the week after that is going to be Sisters. So this is your girl Barbie J signing off, saying peace.